6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The other day, Robin, you and I were in one of these big box stores around here, and actually this was before Christmas, so it's more like a month ago, actually. And I discovered this part of the store. I guess I won't name the store, but they had a lot of large screen TVs on display, and they had a couple of areas where they had like these makeshift living rooms set up, and I saw one that I wanted really bad. I mean, it had chairs that did everything. You could recline on them, and they had a remote control for your chair. I don't understand why you would need that. You're sitting in the thing. Why do you need a remote control? A remote control for your chair. It was a big, nice, comfy recliner, so I sat in the thing, and then a salesman came by, and he says, can I help you with anything? I said, nope, I'm just fine. And but anyway, it reminded me of a bucket list thing that I have. Mm-hmm. It's sometime before I die.
Which could be soon.
It could be soon. You never know. I want to have a what do you call it? An in-house theater. What do you call it? An in-home theater.
Yeah.
With at least
entertainment room. Yeah.
Thank you. At least 3 recliners. You know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just 3. Me and 2 women or something.
But have you tried those chairs with the remotes? What they do?
No, I have no idea what they do.
We have one. It was actually given to us by someone, and so you sit in it, and then your legs go into this little harness, and you push a button,
really?
And it contracts your muscles and lets them go, and it vibrates your back.
Oh, wow!
I mean, you sit there, and it shakes you every which way but loose, and they are so nice because they'll put you to sleep.
So the voice you're hearing, I'm sure you know, is Jim George, and he's here to answer your questions about your home theater if you happen to have one or want one, or anything regarding cable TV, etc. Jim is the owner of American Cable Services, and he just participated in International Wink Day and Product Placement Day. They're both today. So you're winking and putting product placement in the photos and tagging it with, what do you call it? Wink. Hashtag Wink Day.
Wink Day.
Hashtag Wink Day.
Wink Day.
It's a new thing. It's part of your world. It's high technology stuff.
Yeah.
You put a hashtag and it does something. I don't know what it does.
I have no idea.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah. Some of the new terminologies. I mean, you guys are up on Facebook. I mean, you've been doing that for years, and Twitter and Tweeter and all that kind of stuff. But some of us older guys, we're not all into all that stuff.
Well, wait a minute now.
It's more software than it is hardware. In other words,
it is, but I don't do. I mean, we post pictures and we write a few things, but I don't really know how it works. Or I don't even know what difference it actually makes. It's just fun.
It seems fun until the pictures that you post, you have to realize never go away. Never. I mean, like my daughter posted one. I don't even want to go there, but she posted one, and my wife saw it and said, "What were you thinking?" She said, "That was a party. It was for fun." Years later, people are still looking at that photo. It never goes away. Be careful what you post. It will come back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. So let me go to Robin's page and see if your picture's there yet, because she just posted your picture.
Oh, look at here. Look.
There you are. You're winking. You're winking. There you are. Okay. All right, let me like it, and then I'll comment under it. There you go. It's International Wink Day.
Yeah.
So you're not on Facebook, so I can't tag you on here.
No, I don't do any of that stuff. I try to keep a low profile. I'm a real low profile guy. I'll come into this world and leave, and no one will ever know I was here.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
You're going to leave a big footprint, Jim.
We know you're here.
You will leave a big footprint on technology.
Everybody wants to make a mark for themselves, but I'm not so. I'm not that way. I don't have a competitive bone in my body. I have no competitiveness. You want to do something, I say do it. Fine.
Yeah. Well,
that's
not a bad way to be, really.
Yeah, but you make life better for people.
Yeah, I don't even want to. I don't play card games or anything. I just, I don't. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Fine. But I seem to be pretty lucky because every time we go to a trade show or something with my wife, or we go to Vegas and I'll throw a quarter in a slot machine, I'll win like 100, and I'll just walk away.
So you do gamble.
I'll put a quarter in.
So
I limit myself.
So we had this segment this morning where people lost a lot of money who had won a lot of money. So you wouldn't be one of them. If you won it, you're keeping it.
Oh, yeah. I got my first dollar, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's pretty cool.
But, technology, you mentioned the Shands situation this morning with the trauma center.
Yes, and we have a guest coming on.
Technology in medicine is unbelievable what they can do.
I know. It really is.
You need that.
Yeah, so all of that's kind of working together. I guess, and it's interesting that the technology that is interesting to us when we're kids actually, while it might just be a bunch of games, it actually prepares, maybe not me, it wouldn't apply to me, but my son and Robin's children, prepared them for the world that they're living in today.
Right.
Because they're using it all the time. They're using technology.
Right. But everything's going IP. You're going to have to just bow to it pretty soon. I don't mean you necessarily, but the world. You got IPTV. Mm-hmm. All right. You can listen to radio over the internet. I mean, like myself, on my computer, I have a channel that I listen to, and it's in the background, so it's playing. But I'm streaming it from Pahokee, let's say, so someplace in the world, wherever it is, and all that's going to be at our fingertips. The refrigerators are going to talk to you and say you're low on eggs. You need to buy eggs. Mm-hmm. Everything's going the way of IP. So.
Or call you while you're at work. Hey, the milk is getting sour.
Yeah, bring home milk.
And I just installed a burglar alarm system for my youngest daughter. And when you open the door, you have to put a code in. Well, she's got a code and her husband's got a code. And so when they walk in, it says she gets an email, a text message saying, Harold was in the house.
Really?
And when he leaves, he puts his code in, and Harold left the house.
Wow.
So you keep track on everything you do.
So I have one area of high tech that I don't like, that I want the old tech back. Ready? It's my oven, my stove. Mm-hmm. Because it's electronic, and, I just want it where you turn the knob and it's on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have to push this button, that button, and program to cook something.
Right. Especially when you try and turn it, because you sometimes forget to turn it off. Because you have to go to the stop button. It's like everything. A start button, a stop button, a set button.
I don't need the new technology in my stove.
No.
Plus, there's another problem with this stuff, and I'm not a bug expert, but somebody explained it to me, that the little tiny roaches, the baby roaches, somehow detect electronics as sweet.
They do.
So they get in there.
They get in there. They love it.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But my wife points out to me that it's the same with the washing machine. Now,
really?
Robin would know this, but I would not. She says that she wants to buy a brand new washer and dryer. Ours is like 6 years old. And so she goes to buy them, and they do not have a soak anymore. You cannot get a washer, let's say, that you can put your clothes in and let it fill up with water and then soak. And she does that because she raises dogs, so a lot of times she has to soak the bedding and things like that.
Exactly.
They don't have that cycle. That's been completely eliminated. So what does she do? She spends $200 to have her old one fixed.
Well, good for her.
Now she realizes that's, you could put, maybe $350 to buy a new one, but it doesn't have that feature.
Wait a minute.
Nobody has that feature.
Well, couldn't you just turn it off and let it soak?
It starts to drain, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Don't ask me how this works. But it's so electronic, it has a mind of its own. This brain inside the washer knows that it's supposed to go to the next cycle or whatever it is.
Yeah, the new ones. The new ones is all like computerized. It's not like push and pull a button. That's why I've got my old one. I like to push and pull that button.
Yeah, so that's what she does. She did the same thing. So she called the guy in. He said, it's nothing but it was leaking. He said, it's just a pump, and that's like $60. And she said, well, how about the lid? I have to slam the lid. Well, it's just a little switch. And anyway, the $140 was the labor. The part was like
really?
$60, and you got a brand, and everything's good. I mean, how many moving parts are there on a washer or dryer? There's a motor, things like that.
I know. If I ever need a repairman for my washing machine, by the way, first thing he's going to have to do is cut through the duct tape.
Yeah.
Now that's a picture. I want to specialize on that for a minute. Cut through the duct tape. You have it wrapped with duct tape?
Well, here's what happened. I figured. Well, see, what happened is my neighbor had a rat.
Okay.
Or more than one rat. So he put out rat poison. Mm-hmm. Now, rat poison makes a rat very, very thirsty before it kills them.
Yes.
Well, he came looking for water and found some behind a rubber tube in my washing machine and chewed through it to get to the water.
Wow.
So now I turn on my water and it's not going where it should go, and instead is going all over the floor.
Yes.
So I figured, well, all I got to do is get a new tube, and the where the Literacy Council is now used to be Goldman Appliances. Right. So I went over there, got the rubber hose, said, that's all I need. It was probably $2 at the most. Went home, now I got to take the thing apart and put it in. Shouldn't be that hard, right?
Yeah.
You need to be very, very knowledgeable about how these things are put together in order to take them apart.
Right.
So guess what? I took it apart the wrong way and then couldn't put it back together.
I did the same thing.
So that's why it's held together with duct tape.
I took the back off. The guy said, you took the back off. You never take the back off.
Yeah.
I said, well, how do you get it apart? He said, I'm not going to tell you.
I know, they won't tell you. I know.
For $65, we will come
That's
out.
exactly right.
I go, huh?
You know how to put the hose on. You know how to fix the motor, but you don't know how to take the stupid cover off.
Right, and yet if someone calls me and says, how do you hook up this? I'll walk them through the process. I mean, why do I want to run halfway across town to put a 10-cent connector on?
That's right. Exactly.
These guys,
Because it's how you make your living.
$65, man. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to
No.
tell you.
So do you have built-in repair secrets in electronics?
Not really.
Like
No,
TVs? No?
we're
You need to do that.
We're open source. I mean, you can go online and get anything. But when you look at the manual shows that the front of the washer, opens up. Sure. But it doesn't tell you got to take every knob off the front. You got to put special screwdriver down. And no.
Got to pop a clamp, a very, very, very
that
Oh, yeah.
clamp.
hard
Clamp
metal
was
thing.
annoying.
And you're not getting that clamp back in.
No, it's impossible.
They got a
That's why the
special
duct tape
tool
is
to get
there.
it in.
And then if you go to YouTube and say, how do you do this? There's a guy, perfectly dressed, not a spot of dirt on him. And this is how you do it. There it is. It's done. They want to put it back together. There it is. So there you go. There's your lesson. And you go, okay, well, that looked easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6 hours later, sweaty, cursing at the sun.
Cursing. Yes.
Yeah.
I told you to call the repairman, my wife said. I said, yeah, I know. That's the problem when you try to be all things to all people. You can't see it.
Oh, no. So
But the technology today, like we were saying, it's in everything. It's in dentistry. I mean, I had my teeth cleaned the other day, and they wanted to do deep cleaning. If they ever want to do deep cleaning,
They look nice. They look
kind of
clean.
resist.
I'm looking at them. They
Kind of
look good.
resist, because when they say deep, they mean way down.
Did it hurt?
It's under the gums,
It
right?
bled a lot, but it really didn't hurt.
It bled a lot.
I tell people that I've been married for 39 years. I can stand a lot of pain. Go ahead.
Oh, no. How many years? 39?
39 come February 22nd.
Oh, happy
Congratulations.
anniversary.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. 30 years ago, the Apple Mac made its debut. I don't know if you heard that earlier. And revolutionized home computing, I guess.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you were married 9 years when that thing started.
Yeah.
Make you feel old?
First computer I had. What was the first computer you had? Or did you have a first computer of
I
your own?
I actually won one, and to call it a computer is not really true, but it was called a computer. It was, one of those deals where you go for the timeshares, whatever it is, where you buy a week,
Right.
and they say if you come and listen to the spiel, you're going to get a free. So they said a free computer. And this was when computers were first out, and I went to Jacksonville or St. Augustine or something, and I got this really flimsy-looking plastic thing. I think Texas Instruments made it.
Texas
Yeah.
Instrument.
You're supposed to hook it up to your TV.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what the heck I was doing. A Boy Scout came to my door selling cookies or something, or no, not cookies, whatever Boy Scout sold back then. I said, would you like a computer? Yeah. I said, you're probably going to be able to figure it out. I can't figure it out. So that's what happened to it. You ready for the phone?
Yes, ready.
Good morning. You're on there with Jim George.
Good morning. This is Sonny calling. I'm about as technically challenged as they get, but talking about the first computers, my son went from community college to a four-year school, and that's what he decided to study was at that time a week needed. They didn't have computer science. They had physics and math and things like that. His first computer was a Texas Instrument thing that had a very tiny little screen on there, and it was just strictly black and white, and then you had to know all the different computer languages to decipher what the computer was printing. And then I think after a year he came up with a new computer. No, it was the Commodore 64.
Yes.
And that was a vast improvement. But it's unbelievable what the computers are like today compared to those early computers.
Right. I used to work on computers at the RCA factory in West Palm Beach, and it was as big as the studio is here. That's how many racks there were.
Wow.
And it couldn't even do what your watch can do today. I mean, that's how much computing power. Yeah. Unbelievable. Thank you, Sonny.
Anyway, that's so much for computer history, and it's changing so fast. It's in your cloud stuff, and now the stuff with the NSA. The only thing I could say about that is maybe the government's expecting some kind of uprise because they're going to pull something on the American people. That's the only reason I could see for it.
Right.
Well, and if that does happen, you watch it on your big screen TV and in your home theater. And
That's right, with your recliner and your little cooler next to it, you're all set.
Thank you, Sonny. Let's go to another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Jim George.
Yes, good morning, Mr. George and everybody. See, is there a rule of thumb as far as distance from a large flat screen TV that you should follow so many feet? Well, I got a 40-inch now, and it's in a place where it's up against the wall, and the couch that I watch it on is up against the wall, so there's not too much movement there, and I want to go to a 55. How would I determine that? Is there a rule of thumb on that, or you just, I don't know, go to a store and stand in front of it for a while and move back and forward, or how would you handle that?
Well, going to the store and moving back and forth is always a good idea because then because it's the way you perceive it, not necessarily the way 200 people in a room perceived it and they wrote down all the notes. But there is a chart, and everybody has it, Sears, H.H. Gregg, everybody, and they give it to you, and it tells you how far away you are from a certain size, what it appears to be to your brain. Now, but the thing is, everybody's brain's a little different. But if you had a 2-inch screen and it was 2 inches from your eye, which is like the military has it in their helmets.
Yeah, right.
It looks like a 70-inch screen because it's just that close. And then it shows you that if you move that 10 feet away, what size it has to be, or 20 feet away, to give you the same perception. So I've gone from a 35-inch to a 65-inch, but I kept the distance the same. And the the perception's unbelievable. It looks like it fills the entire room. But there again, I was only 10 feet away from it, and now you're 10 feet away from a 65-inch. Wow, what a difference!
Yeah, right.
I mean, you find yourself.
All these stores have a chart you can kind of follow, but it not necessarily is what you really have to go by, I suppose.
Exactly, you need to make it for yourself because you don't know if you have depth perception problems. You don't know if you have a slight glaucoma. You don't know if you have a cataract.
Yeah.
I mean, you may know, but what I'm saying, the people who did the chart didn't know that, and they just said based on 100 people in a room, here's what they perceived.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, thank you. When I go shopping, I'll ask for the chart and stand in front of the thing and see what happens. So thanks for your answer.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You don't want to be so close that when movement's on the screen, you move your head. You can imagine that, right? I mean, just imagine like we are here, and if your eye were to look a little bit to your right, I would find myself turning to see what you're looking at.
Right.
So when you're seeing a movie, if somebody is doing that, you find yourself turning your head, and you don't want to be doing this. You'd be spastic all day long. Like you're too close. Get back. Get the whole picture.
You had pointed out also that you can adjust your television set where even if you're on an angle watching the TV screen, you still get the full benefit of the full screen, and you won't have any distortion.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do it. You can do an auto fit, where no matter what bit rate the TV is, it fills the whole screen, or you can say no, if it's going to be a 480 amount of bits, then I want to see it in 480. If it's going to be a 720, I want to see it in 720. Most people like to stretch the picture so it fills the whole screen. They just feel comfortable that way.
And what kind of speed does your internet connection have to have when they hook up to your service?
You got to have a minimum of 5 megabits per second for the TV. So if you wanted to have TV and internet at the same time, you might want to get a 7 to 10 megabit per second.
And is that the highest you can get?
Oh, no, you can. Cox and Comcast, I think their basic is 20.
Oh.
And they'll go up to like 50 if you want it, and it's not that much more. Now, the telephone company can't match those speeds. Mm-hmm. That's because they still have a lot of old copper wire. Oh. It's not the technology. They have technology better than we do. It's just that they're still working with old copper wire. Cable TV is working with fiber and everything else, yeah.
In reading the stories this morning about the 30-year anniversary of the Mac, I was reminded by the stories that back then you sort of kind of had to know something. You had to know the C:// Remember all the stuff you had to know? DOS, thank you. I forgot it was even called. Now you really don't. You really don't need to know that. But the information you just said about the TVs makes me wonder if the day that I go get one, will I bring it home and something won't work, and then I'll call the repair guy and he'll say, oh, well, here's why it doesn't work. You didn't get So I'll need to know in advance what I want it for before I get it. I mean, that makes sense to me, right?
Well, like in this case where you're so close to Sears and such, you just might want to walk over there, after work each day for 2 and 3 days and look at different models and different sizes and get an idea of what you think it would be like. But you might want to go to Rooms to Go. They have rooms to go that have TVs in them.
Really?
You can sit in a chair and you can see yourself and take a tape measure. Okay, I'm 19 feet away from the TV.
Put your tape measure into it.
And then drag the chair a little closer and say, okay, now I'm 16 feet away from it.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, because you have an entire room. You can't go to your neighbor's house and say, hey, can I sit in your chair for a minute and see
Right.
But some of those recliners, I have a recliner, Larry, that you would love. It's so big for me that I find myself sitting across the arms of it. Instead of sitting right with my hands on the arms,
Oh, really?
I find myself laying across it. And for a fellow your size, it'd be perfect for you. I need to tell my wife I need to buy a smaller one and give this one to you. You would love it.
I've seen some huge ones. They're amazing what's out there. It could be your bed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, they're huge.
I fall asleep in a recliner. It's not unusual for me.
I fall asleep every night in a recliner.
Do you really?
My wife says, hey, you want to pick a movie we can fall asleep to? And I said, sure. We put something on TV, and before I know it, we're both sound asleep.
Oh, that's too funny.
Whoever wakes up first, we say, okay, it's time to go to bed.
That's too funny.
That's true love.
9:30 or 10 o'clock, yeah.
So you know what I don't like? I know this is kind of veering from the subject a little bit, but let me say this with a little bit of a disclaimer. It's not that I don't like it, but when they have these animated features that look like real movies,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, why don't you just get real actors? I like my cartoons to look like Donald Duck. I don't want my cartoons to look like George Clooney.
But then you love VeggieTales.
VeggieTales looks like real cartoons.
Well, yeah, because it's Mr. Cucumber, Mr. Tomato, and they look just like cucumbers and tomatoes. It's all cartoon. It's actually quite entertaining, VeggieTales.
When you go to a person's home to set everything up so they can get your service, do you make suggestions to them as to where the best place in their home would be to set up the TV for the best experience?
Well, the internet box, which is in this case the IPTV box, needs to be somewhere near the TV. So a lot of people may have the internet coming in, let's say a utility room or someplace, where, and then they have the TV in the living room. Well, we have to get that box closer. So we may have to wire from that place where the internet comes in over to the TV.
Oh.
And if they don't have that, then we actually have a wireless box. So if you have a wireless internet connection in your house, you can watch TV wirelessly.
So can somebody steal your TV if you've got a wireless box? Can they tap into your TV channel
no,
and
not quite
by
the way
not
it
paying
works.
for it?
No, there's a little part that would go into your TV. In other words, the box receives your wireless signal, but it's our signal. In other words, it's our signal riding over your wireless network. If Doug was using your internet, he couldn't see the TV because that's only the box sees the TV. He'd have to have our box.
Right.
It's a secure way of delivering it. It's just like encoded, and then the box will decode it.
Oh, okay. I like that.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for winking on the International Wink Day, whatever it's called. Wink at someone day.
On Flag Day, we need to wave some flags.
We do.
That's right.
On Flag Day, we have flags.
Yeah.
We always do.
Need to wave the flags on Flag Day.
So what is your phone number?
My number is 854-9795, and we'll have a special guest next week. And it's a surprise guest, and the reason why it's a surprise, it's a surprise to me. I won't be here next week, so I'm going to invite somebody.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Whatever you're doing, have fun.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back. Got a new show starting in just a bit. It's called Horse Sense. An old friend coming into the studio. Mark Shuffett will be here with Crystal Frennan and talking about horses in just a bit. This is The Source, WOCA.
Science!
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala!
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it for